All right, Ryan Troy, back with another video for you today. We are at WPPI 2022, and Nikon is here, so you already know that I'm excited. Now I'm joined with Mark today. Mark, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Now, just a quick question. As far as for Nikon, what is it that you do exactly?
I'm work in the marketing department. I'm a marketing manager at Nikon USA. Once in a rare while, a camera comes along that is so revolutionary that it allows us to change the way we shoot and to capture images in ways like never before. No, I manage kind of the product launches, and we take these amazing products and just bring them to market.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of my subscribe base, we are huge Nikon shooters. We really care about everything Nikon. Now, with the camera that you have in your hand, that beautiful Z9, y'all knocked it out the park. Made the best camera possible. So I know that from all the success that you guys are doing with this, it shouldn't be any backlash for anything. Have y'all been receiving anything?
Yeah, October 28th, I think that's when we launched it. That was a glorious day for us. We got a lot of great reaction initially. What's been more pleasing is that when it's now in the hands of people, because it's already hit the market, many people own this camera already, the positive feedback continues. And I think we're really delivering for a lot of people that have wanted the type of features that we've been promising for this, and it's finally delivered. So we're really excited about that customer that has this level of camera, and we're learning all about the way they're using it and the capabilities, and it's been really exciting, like better than we could have expected.
Now, when it comes to the future, is there anything that you guys can tell us right now that you are currently working on? Now, I know that this is pretty much like it's hard to get one right now, right? So the couple months you may still focus on just shipping these out. Are y'all thinking about creating another camera?
No, I'll tell you, we're always developing. We're always in a state of development. What we can tell you is that what Nikon usually doesn't do is we have a roadmap of lenses coming out. And what we've done recently is since the announcement of this camera, we've actually announced a significant number of lenses. We've announced, the 100 to 400, which has been a great telephoto lens. We've announced a 400 millimeter 2.8 with a 1.4 teleconverter built in. We've development announced, teased essentially, if you will, an 800 millimeter coming out. And so what we're really doing is we're addressing a lot of the people that shoot telephoto in that community, whether it's wildlife, birding, sports, and we're really now hitting hard on that because of the strengths of the Z9's autofocus system. So because of that, I think we're really confident now to tackle these people that need that type of functionality. Sports photographers, photojournalists. We're at the wedding show, obviously, so I think it's still important that people have that type of functionality. It has 3D tracking now. But what I can tell you is that the Z9 has really captured the imagination of a lot of people, not only in photo, but video as well. You guys are, know about the video capabilities, so we're excited about that.
Now, I think that it was extremely important for the genre that you said this camera was made for, because when we had the Z6, the Z6 II, 772, a lot of people that were doing the complaints was more of like your wildlife people that wanted to, get birds and stuff like that, and they was complaining about the eye autofocus. But me, I'm a portrait photographer, so I never had those problems. And I always said that the eye autofocus with the Nikon was great, but because I didn't, take photos of wildlife and stuff like that, I don't think I was the right person to be able to say that. But now with this camera, it's great that you listened and that you guys did what you were supposed to in order to make, that community happy. But it's one other community that I'm just curious if you guys think that you will focus on in the future. Now, this camera is amazing with video. 8K, it's beautiful. You can shoot log internally.
Yep.
10-bit.
Internally, 10-bit.
Internally.
Yeah, that's
So,
something we never had before.
Right, no need for a Ninja for that. Now, we know with other companies, they have dedicated video cameras. And that's something that is important to me, where I don't want to spend, the amount for this. I would rather spend money like that on just a dedicated video camera. Do you guys think in the future you may think of doing something like that?
Well, I'll tell you this, the Z9 is probably the most compelling hybrid video camera hybrid camera out there. So when we just talk about the specs that we put into the Z9, it's actually quite unusual because you have people here that need a stalwart photo camera that make their living taking wedding photos and things like that, and shooting with lights and studio and ambient light and all these diverse situations. But they may also require what you mentioned, 10-bit, N-Log, internal. So what we have in the Z9 is all those capabilities and then some. We have, as you mentioned, 8K, but we've also been able to obliterate the time limit that we had before with 30 minutes. So that's a huge thing. I mean, it was only so many months ago that 8K internal had a lot of heating issues, like in other cameras out there. But because of our design with the bigger body, better heat dissipation, we're actually able to do 2 hours and 5 minutes in 8K. And we've also teased, so talking about the video community, additional major firmware updates for the Z9. And I'll say it right now, 12-bit, raw, internal,
That's incredible.
for free.
For free. Now, would they have to, send their camera in for it, or will it come straight from a firmware update?
It's yet to be determined the how it's being delivered, but what I can tell you is that it's coming this year. It's gonna be delivering something we've, as you mentioned before, required third-party devices.
Right.
So I think in terms of the workflow of being able to do all these things in one body gives people a lot of flexibility, because you can invest in one lens system and be able to capture sports, wedding, video, all from one body. And so, and high-end video for that matter. If you wanted to shoot something and then farm out the color grading to another specialist, and they say, give me an N-Log file, give me a 12-bit RAW file, I mean, you're talking about dedicated video cameras. You might have to get, $40,000 camera in order to do that. You can do it all within this body that's $5,500. So as far as the Nikon video landscape is concerned, I think it all kind of points at the Z9 of being this amazing hybrid solution.
Okay. And the last question that I have for you is, now we saw recently, last year, what you guys were able to do with the original Z6 and Z7 with the last firmware update that pushed it real close to the Z7 II and the Z6 II with the eye autofocus. It has been rumored since September of 2021 that the Z7 II and Z6 II will get an update to even improve the eye autofocus more. Is it possible with the two processors that the Z6 II and Z7 II have to get just the eye autofocus or the tracking anywhere close to the Z9?
I'll just tell you this. The physical hardware of the processors in the Z9, we use Xpeed 7, Xpeed 6 with the dual processors, as you mentioned, in the Z6 II, Z7 II. That is it's a fraction of the processing power of the Xpeed 7. I think the Xpeed 7 is about 10 times more than the processing power of those two processors. So there's going to be physical hardware restrictions that can only bring the eye autofocus to what it is. Having said that, we improved the tracking frames very much so since the initial launch of those cameras. So the great news is that we continue to develop those cameras and improve them seemingly every quarter with significant firmware updates. So whatever our engineers can continue to do to improve, and I'm actually, for me personally, I'm surprised how well they've improved that autofocus. I can't tell you what's coming up in terms of those models, but I'll just address the fact that a Z9, I think everybody wants a Z7 II and a Z6 II to behave like a Z9. I think that's what you're getting at. The Z9 has physical hardware such as the stack sensor and the Xpeed 7 processor that just, it's a physical hardware thing that enables the eye detect and the 3D tracking and the tracking capabilities that make this essentially mimicking a D6 in terms of autofocus. And that's what we say about the Z9. It's effectively a mirrorless D6 in terms of focusing. That's why we branded this with our flagship title of not only mirrorless but in the entire brand of Nikon.
All right, sounds great, man. So once again, Mark, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for coming.